keynote speaker. Our keynote speaker for this afternoon is Jewell Lavender. She's an organization development facilitator and career coach. She is the Myers-Briggs, type indicator, MBTI certified, step 1 and 2, and a social and emotional intelligence certified coach. Jewell daily engages in her passion as she focuses on talent development for the law firm of Shook, Hardy, and Bacon, where she has been employed for over 36 years. That's an accomplishment in itself. She has a wealth of knowledge and proven experience as a leader and a change agent. While Jewell has 16 years of formal management experience and a Bachelor of Arts degree in education, her most notable credentials are the testimonies from others recognizing her for her orchestrating their professional life journey and helping them fully discover their authentic self. Jewell is a highly sought-after public speaker, seminar presenter, and coach, and she is also a community servant and diversity ambassador, known for her ability to enrich the lives of others through mentoring. Jewell enjoys reading, singing, and helping to shape the future of her 2 grandsons. It is my pleasure to welcome Jewell to the platform as the 2016 Leadership Keynote Speaker.
Thank you, Richard, for that dynamic introduction. I am so excited to be here today. I'm very passionate about EQ, and you'll see as I give you information on it and hope that you'll become as passionate as I am. But first of all, I want you to take out your cell phones that you probably already have out. And I want you, if you have questions throughout this presentation, to send your questions to jill.joyner27@gmail.com. And so at the end, I will answer questions for you. I'd like to recognize my cohort, Jill Joyner. Jill, she's an organizational development facilitator at Shook, Hardy, and Bacon, and we work very closely together. So I'm going to take you on a journey today. Are you ready to go? Yeah. Okay. Tighten up. Get ready. We're going. This year may not be significant to you, but it is to me. I'll go back to 1957, though. How many of you are familiar with the historical Little Rock Nine? Great. It was in 1957 that 9 African-American students were segregated Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas. Orville Faubus, who was the governor at that time, tried to stop them from entering into the high school. And so the National Guard had to be called out in order to escort those students to Central High School. So that is a historical fact. You can Google it. You can find all the information you want to about it. But so you're asking, so what is 1967? 10 years later, what does that mean? Well, you might not recognize that picture, but that's me in 1967. And me, along with my friend Valine, were the first 2 African Americans to integrate the all-white Hope High School in Hope, Arkansas, Bill Clinton's hometown. That was a scary, very scary situation. A little bit of history prior to that is the South was hit pretty hard, and so they focused on the schools and they wanted them to be integrated, and they allowed us to have a freedom of choice to decide whether we wanted to go, the African American students at the all-black school, whether they wanted to go to the all-white school. So we were pretty jazzed about it, and lots of us decided, yeah, we're going to go. We knew that we would get a better education. We wouldn't have to get the used books, the hand-me-down everything. So we were excited about that, and so were our parents. So probably about 50 of us decided that we were going to go. Our parents signed the forms, we talked about it throughout the summer, and we were looking forward to it. But when push came to a shove, only two of us went, and that was me and Valine. Now, Valine was sick most of the time. She had some health issues, so she didn't go to school that much. It was just me. But I remember the first day of school. As I went to school to catch the bus, I had to pass by the African American friends of mine who decided they would stay at the all-black school. I passed by them, and I thought about that this morning as I was thinking about the presentation, because when I first decided that I would start my speech this way, I hadn't thought about what they were saying. But they were making comments about she thinks she's better than us. She's gonna go to the white school. Look at her. As I passed by people who I thought were my friends. And I walked to the bus stop alone. As I entered where everybody was standing, waiting to catch the bus, all the white students were there, and they saw me and they started to snicker. As I approached them, they were laughing, they were whispering to each other, the little black girl is gonna get on the bus with us. Imagine, I want you to think about that. I was 14 years old. My first year in high school, alone, by myself. Do you get a visual? Okay. As we're getting ready to get on the bus, I'm trying to maintain my composure because I'm very afraid. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to say. I don't know what my reaction is going to be. Everyone gets on the bus. I'm the last person to get on the bus because everyone pushed ahead of me. I finally get on the bus. I sit next to this little white boy. The kids start laughing. They start laughing and pointing like, he's sitting next to her. What does he do? He gets up and he rushes past me, because he's not going to sit with the little black girl. So, imagine me, 14 years old, sitting on this bus by myself, headed into an environment that is unfamiliar to me. So I look out the window, and I just start talking to myself and saying, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You're going to get through this. First day, I don't have a vivid picture of first day. It's sort of like a little bit of foggy memory in my mind. I guess I probably just tried to forget it. But I remember getting on that bus and the little boy moving to the back because he didn't want to sit next to me. When I got home that day, I talked to my mother and I said, Mom, she said, how did your first day go? I said, it was horrible. It was horrible. Nobody talked to me. Nobody wanted to sit next to me. This little boy gets up from the seat on the bus and he moves because he doesn't want to sit next to me. And I was looking for sympathy from my mom. And I was looking for her to say, you know what? I'm going to call that school. This is crazy. It's not going to happen. You don't have to put up with that. You don't have to go back to that school anymore. But guess what? She didn't say that. She didn't say that. She actually reframed that whole situation. And here's how she did it. She said, you know what? You're important. You matter. You're going to be successful. You have an opportunity here. And so when he or someone else gets up from the seat that you're in, say, hey, I have the whole seat to myself. I have the whole seat to myself. So I thought that was a paradigm shift for me. And so I started to be excited about going to to school because I knew I'd have the whole seat to myself. Everybody else would be crammed up together, but me had the whole seat to myself. You know, that was a part of me managing myself to make sure that I didn't get stuck there, get mad, get angry, and get immobilized. But I still didn't have any friends. And Valine was sick. So every now and then she would come to school, days that she didn't. But it was interesting how they strategically placed us in every class together. And I thought that was a good thing because when she was there, at least I had somebody to be with, but she was not there most of the time. But when she was there, she would grade my paper when in our English class. I remember English class specifically, we would grade each other's paper. But when she wasn't there, guess who graded my paper? Guess who graded my paper? I did. Because the teacher did not allow another student to grade my paper because I would have to grade theirs. It was like a swap. So there's another self-awareness piece that says you're not good enough to grade anybody else's paper because they're not going to grade yours. I could have been damaged for life based on those situations. But as I said, go back to my story, I didn't have any friends, but this one little girl, one day she said, you know what? I want to be your friend. And I thought, wow, I've got a friend. What was different about her was that she was one that what we would classify as not pretty, a little overweight, someone that other people didn't want to be with as well, sort of a misfit, if I could use that term. And so she didn't want to be by herself anyhow, so she thought, let's just be together. Nobody wants to be with you, nobody wants to be with me, let's be together. I was excited about that. Until one day, as I was getting off the bus, she said, I can't be with you anymore. I'm thinking, you can't be with me anymore? Why not? She said, I told my dad, and he said, I don't want you to be with her anymore. I'm 14 years old. I decided, okay, you don't want to be with me anymore? That's fine. So the rest of that school year, I was alone most of the time. You're probably thinking, what does any of this have to do with EQ? I hope you're getting it though. I hope you're getting it because self-awareness is key. Self-awareness is key to EQ. Basically, EQ is made up of 4 characteristics: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. If I didn't know who I was, if I let other people define me as a nobody, as a nothing, I would have been stuck there. But I didn't. And I managed my emotions. I didn't get angry. I didn't get so upset that I couldn't go to school anymore. Sometimes we get our emotions so twisted that we become in a place where we make ourselves sick. I can't move. I'm stuck. Nobody likes me. It wasn't about other people. It was more about me and who I was. Fast forward, 1979. I moved to Kansas City. I was excited about moving here. I had just graduated from an all-black college in Little Rock, Orlando Smith College. And ironically, I did my student teaching at Central High School. That was like, wow, all of this is coming together for me. And I come to Kansas City, I have a college degree, and I'm trying to find a job. I had done clerical work for the Department of Appeals in the Social Security Administration. And so I'm looking for a clerical position with a college degree. And everybody's telling me, you're not going to find a job here. Everybody's looking for a job, and you can't. Why did you come to Kansas City? Well, I had a brother here and his family, and they encouraged me to move here. So I applied at Shook, Hardy and Bacon. They hired me as a legal secretary. I was so excited. And I thought, wow, this is a new city for me. I'm going to make new friends. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be wonderful. And I go to work the first day. I'm looking for someone who looks like me. And I don't see anybody. We're in 1979 now. And I don't see anybody that looks like me. I soon realized that there are only two other people who look like me. One is in the records department, and one is in our PLG department now. Is what we call now is our tobacco department. So there were three of us. And I think probably at that time, maybe we had a population of about 200 people. And so every day, before I could really realize that they were even there, I was by myself again. And I thought, wow, I end up being by myself, being the only one just throughout my whole life. And I thought, you know what? I'm learning how to be aware of that, how to manage that, how to socially interact, how to develop relationships. I'm learning a lot of things. I'm learning how to be a leader. I'm learning how not to sit here and be sad and be the victim. So, in that position at Shook, Hardy and Bacon, I was in that position as a legal secretary for 17 years. It was 7 years before they hired another African-American woman as a legal secretary. Fast forward from that, I became a secretarial supervisor. There were 4 of us, supervising a staff of about 130 secretaries. I was the only Black supervisor. In my role now in the Learning and Development Department, Jill and I are both organizational development facilitators, and what that is, I'll just define that for you briefly. What we do is we create classes based on the need of the firm. We send out surveys just to see, what do you want us to have these classes about? I mean, what do you need? I just finished teaching a class on stress management, and I entitled it Stressed? Who, me? My class is filled up 3 times. I have to keep opening the class again because I said, wow, there are a lot of stressed out people here. So we create classes based on that, how to have a crucial conversation. We entitled it, Can We Talk? Jill just finished a class on the art of kindness. Art of Kindness Part 2. And I created a class on around the water cooler. What do you think that means? There's a lot of gossip going on in the workplace and everywhere else. But that's what we do. And then we are internal coaches, so we coach people on how to have those conversations, conflict management, those types of things. But I'm one African-American person there. So in the settings that I'm in, when I look around the room, it's me. I'm the only Black person. And I believe, had I not stayed the course in the 9th grade, I would not have developed my mindset to the place where that would be okay. But I have never been unaware that I am an African-American woman, that I am somebody, that I do matter, because it's all about who you are. It's all about who you are, and it's foundational. If you don't know who you are, it is impossible to develop the other skills on how to manage yourself in situations where stress has occurred. You won't know how to defute an argument. You won't know how to do those types of things if you don't know yourself. And then that social awareness, when you're out and you're meeting other people, are you listening to them? Are you paying attention? There is, her name is Adele Lyons, and she's written many books on emotional intelligence. And she talks about the people who are not good listeners. She classifies them in so many different ways. And she talks about the rebuttal listener, that person that's waiting to rebut whatever you've said. The advice giver. You can't finish a sentence before they have some advice for you. The happy hooker is a term that she used, and I'm like, happy hooker, what does that mean? And she says, it's like, and this just happened to me yesterday, as a matter of fact, I guess in preparation for this presentation. I was telling someone, I'm presenting at UMKC, and I'm excited about it, and this person says, well, I've got an interview with so-and-so next week. They're going to come to the job to interview me. I need to get that set. I'm like, okay. That's a happy hooker. They wait long enough to hear what you say so they can hook you with what they have to say. And then there's that faker, the person who's pretending to listen to what you're saying. That's the worst. That's the worst. They're either texting somebody or what, and they're but they're not engaged. The art of listening is critical. It is crucial because you have to not already have an answer for a question that you don't even know the answer to. That has been a pet peeve of mine. The relationship management is huge. As leaders, you know